Okay, so guys, are we ready?
I think so. Let's go.
Great to see everybody. Welcome to podcast number 16. We finally got to the
16?
sweet
Oh my
16 that you were
16.
talking about what is it? People
Yeah.
get married at
That's
that
true,
point?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like a
At
wedding.
16,
I don't
no.
know.
At
Yeah,
16.
Man, I don't know.
So you got to start looking up why they do
Which
these
country?
things.
I have
I'm
no
telling
idea
you,
where you've been.
For both 15 and 16,
Where
this
do you
is
go?
them now saying that
No.
yes, they're open to the world. I'm
Which
telling
country?
You, yes.
It's 13 in China.
That's even worse.
13 in China.
That's why I don't have any kids. And if I do, it's gonna be all boys.
I said.
And they're gonna be robots.
Yeah. correct.
Guys, great to see you. A couple of things that I think we can spend some time covering today that would be important. Needless to say, a lot of the looting that's taking place, different places, but obviously specific, some of the states where we see this happen more often. I definitely want to get your take on that. And also, there's a term out there that is gaining momentum. It's called socialism for homeowners.
Mm-hmm.
And you see how before the whole student loan program that they were going to bail out students. And by the way, it's still very much enforced. You know what I mean? That's what these current budgets are addressing, right? Bailing out some of the students and it's still going in that direction. And obviously that has some consequences because you have a lot of people saying, well, wait a minute, I didn't borrow money. Why do I didn't even go to school?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Why do I have to?
Like,
So
I'm a cab driver. Why am I
Correct.
paying for your
why am I?
liberal arts degree?
Well, so something to that effect is going to happen with the housing side, which in this case, believe it or not, people that actually have very good credit scores will have to subsidize, literally supplement somewhere somehow anybody whose credit score is not as high, and so therefore they would be either getting higher rates or obviously greater cost on it.
So they're making the people who have better credit scores
Better
pay
credit
more.
and better payment history. Meaning, I'm looking at you. You always make your payments. You keep your credit, but I'm going to actually take away from you. Meaning, I'm going to charge you a couple of points in your interest, and I'm going to make sure that you come in.
Doesn't that defeat the purpose of having good
so
credit?
that I can help the person who said, I'm not doing anything for my credit. I don't care to pay my bills on time.
I'm buying pizza
So,
on credit.
I am dying to hear your take on
Oh
that,
my
guys.
gosh.
And then finally, obviously, the BRICS Alliance is something that is gaining a lot of momentum out there. Is no longer a joke. You know what I mean? I think we definitely got to see where this thing is going to take us, and where do we go with this thing? Because there's a significant amount of things to consider, not just for what it is now. Have a couple of takes about what I believe is going to be essentially the one thing that's going to help us as a country. But if this thing really falls into place, man, it's going to be crazy out there. So let's get started with this looting situation that keeps getting worse and worse. I literally witnessed, I was watching the news, and I watch a Walmart. You know how sometimes they will grab a bag and somebody's just walking out with a couple of things? This one got cleaned out.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time they were done, I'm looking at the shelves and I'm like, there's nothing left. They really took everything.
At the register.
It's the
They
equivalent
took it in
of
the cash.
somebody just parking with an 18-wheeler and just putting the merchandise back in a truck. You know what I mean? It's like
Reverse stocking.
reverse stocking. Except for the fact that this time was a bunch of people, right? This mob-style looting that's taking place out there. Flash mobs is the reference, obviously, a lot of teenagers, but it's not just teenagers. Like, I don't want to, there's a lot of it involved, but it's not just them organizing through social media. Have you seen any of this? What's your take on that,
I've
guys?
seen a lot the images, but I'm still not sure what started the whole thing, as to why they were. Because I remember the first time when this happened was when it was, I believe, when it was George Floyd when he got killed. And then there was, riots happening all over the country. And I remember it was similar to that, but it wasn't just Walmart.
BLM, Black Lives Matter.
It was everywhere. Yeah, it was going everywhere. And it was crazy.
Boutique stores.
And I remember I was in New York at the time when it was happening. And then I was going to go to Brooklyn. And then the person is like, don't go to Brooklyn. It's like, don't go to Brooklyn.
But it's kind of crazy when the choice is not Walmart, when the choice is actually, like you're saying, Louis Vuitton,
Yeah, yeah.
like when
Yeah.
because that's
So-
a whole different.
So I remember when that was happening, but
But wasn't that more like BLM though, a Black Lives Matter movement related type of situation, right? Because I think this is evolving into something else or because of something else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to figure. I don't know what the cause was. Why there was so many people on the streets. Well, so I remember then. Yes, it was because of a situation that it still didn't justify them breaking into
Correct.
Gucci. I was like, what is the flat screen TV
How do
gonna
we-
do for black people right
how
now?
do we
But
help to bring
but
justice?
Yeah, correct. So I don't understand how that connect. But still, I understand why they were out in the first place. I don't know what happened. Maybe I missed something as to why there were so many people protesting about what? Like, what was this thing that happened?
I don't think it was a protest. And this, by the way, has happened.
I appreciate actually you
Yeah.
highlighting the
It's
difference. There's
not
a
a
difference
protest.
between
Yeah.
protesting and this, which was just looting
Out of
and
the blue.
stealing,
Yeah.
stealing,
It's like, these
robbing.
guys were like, hey guys, let's
Let's all
go
meet
to
up.
town. And like literally, it was straight up like a crazy ass meetup. And it's happened a couple times, even before. So this goes back 5
Yeah.
to 10 years where teens actually get together. How? I don't know. I'm assuming this
Social
thing
media?
called Discord
But,
right now.
yeah.
And I'm like, there's the website. Like, what the hell do you want to call it Discord? Like, I feel like I'm 100 years old right now having this
watch too much
conversation. It's
movies.
like,
Too many,
I'm like,
yeah.
what the heck?
Purge.
But I have a question. Where are the parents?
They're home.
Yeah,
They're
they-
I'm
parents
like, what?
No,
No,
their
like,
parents are home.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
they're-
bring back a toaster.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, their parents home.
what missus I'm checking?
yeah, I mean everybody's in it because when it goes down to
think so.
accountability, it starts with that, right? Like you come back to my house with something stolen, I'm besides giving you a beating, I'm taking you to
To
the
the
police,
police.
right? First of all, second of all, social media organized, right? So if you're a Trump supporter right now, they're tracking you down. If
Yeah,
if you're a Catholic right now, as a matter of fact, the FBI is tracking you down. By the
Wait,
way,
are you getting-
I'm becoming a Muslim for the record, just so everybody knows, and
If you look
Allah
at his
Akbar.
stories, it's all like
Yeah.
churches. I'm like, bro.
I forgot, man. I'm telling you, but just think about that. You know what I mean?
It's so
It's
pretty,
But if you actually have a website, yeah, I'm promoting art for that. I'm not trying to convert anybody, but for all intents and purposes, and for the record, you know what I mean? You have places in social media and websites
Yep.
that are like literally organizing this activity.
Yep.
Is that like anybody? So if 1,000 kids,
Yep.
right, 14, 15, 16 years old, knew that was going to happen, you mean to tell me FBI, local police, you know what I mean, the
They
local
didn't know.
politicians, you mean to tell me they did not know that I was coming down the pipeline? As a matter of fact, even the store itself, at this point, a lot of these businesses have to literally have somebody that will be full-time monitoring social media just to try to understand if am I
Yeah,
next
yeah.
who's going to
Alright,
get
But
targeted.
then that's
Aren't Walmart's like getting out of Chicago? That's I don't know if that's
Ye-
true.
so-
I read it somewhere somehow. I don't know if it's true. But
I'll
what
touch
the-
on
Okay.
what I've seen in a 2nd
Uh-huh.
But to go back to what you said first, they have to know. But not only do they know, they have to know who's organized. Like, we have so much advanced technology. There's no way that you can have a website that has thousands of people on it that's organizing something and you don't know who's controlling
So
this.
we have the
Or-
power to choose, is what you're saying. We have the power to choose what exactly is it that we want to know, what
Yeah,
we want to
absolutely.
target, and we also have the power to choose what exactly is it that we want to ignore.
by the way, why isn't this shit all over MSNBC, CNN,
Apparently-
like all of
well,
those?
it was not a bunch of white hooded men that were, protesting at the corner of 7-Eleven. You know what I mean? That,
No,
that would have been news. But apparently, if you have also, it's not, forget about, there's one level already that you got to consider when we get to that level of anarchy, right? And looting is that, right? Is a complete disregard for the law. But I also saw white lady being attacked by like 25, 30 black kids,
Yeah.
right? And I'm trying to think about if that would have been reversed, if it would have been 25 white kids, because we have those images from the past, right? And we know how detrimental, how negative, how bad all of that was. right? But how is this any different? Are we just gonna reverse discrimination and racism and somewhere somehow we should be okay with that? As it was wrong then, it is wrong now. It's a horrible image to
Witness, yeah.
to witness. You know what I mean? And you know, just imagine I mean, you know it's coming. Well, once you're surrounded by that many people, you know what's coming, and you're just hoping and praying that you're gonna make it out of it. But as a business, you said there's a number of businesses that are pulling out of different cities of California, but in New York, but the highest concentration is happening out of the state of California. By the way, funny little sidestep here is that the current governor of California is being rumored to be potentially the next guy running for president from the Democrat
Got a
Party.
guy? Yo. Anyway. I'm sorry. And
I don't know. I don't even know what happened there. Yeah, good, but
I'm gonna write it down.
so you're saying some of the cities, some of the stores, some of the businesses.
No, so specifically, one of the things that I was looking into was with Chicago, right?
In Chicago, yeah.
So
Chicago and Compton, it was both.
yeah. So what happened was with the Walmart specifically, they were leaving before anything happened, just because they weren't making any money. So they were So but because of what's going on, somehow the media, or I don't know if they do know or if or this is intentional, but they're connecting dots that aren't connected. So now it's making it look like, okay, the stores are shutting down because of what's going on with the looting, which actually they were losing profits for the last 5 years. So then,
Why were they losing profit though? Was it?
they just, I don't know. That's you got to talk to them.
So I'll give you a fun fact, right? You know it in New York. In New York, I had a retail wholesale type of facility. So we added
Tuna can has
we
legs.
literally added a 6 to 7% markup to every item because that was our estimate
It's a
of
looting
how
tax.
much merchandise that was actually stolen. Now, who's actually paying for that? First of all,
The
right?
consumer.
The other consumers, right?
Yeah.
The second thing is you can't eat it as a business because otherwise you can't
Socially.
function, right? But so you pass it on to the consumer. The second thing is when it gets to the point where even that is not sustainable. You know, I remember having a meeting with another friend that was running the same type of business that I was. And every 90 days, you know, I mean, he would have a very detailed report for his accountant. And there was one quarter, though, when the guy literally said, "You broke even. You didn't make any money." And this is, I mean, was very savvy business guy who was doing about, I would say, that was about probably $40 to $60 million of business on a yearly basis. And so your quarter, right? It's about 20 million per quarter, right? Imagine you go through $20 million of money movement,
Yeah.
risk. You're out there. You're putting everything on the line.
Just to break even.
And you didn't make a profit, right? So
What's the point?
What's the point? Is the thing is that what are we promoting here? You know what I mean? What are we doing to businesses? And then here's the sad part about it. Who gets affected if Walmart pulls out of a
Lower
place?
income families?
It
It's cheap.
depends. I don't think I don't think Walmart needs to be around. I think people will be fine without Walmart. And that's what I'm saying. Even with, I don't think looting is going to be the main cause of Walmart leaving Chicago. I think the biggest thing is going to be Amazon is going to get them out way faster than the looters. I think that there's other things that are better than Walmart now, or more convenient than Walmart. That now Walmart is not the thing that they used to be, where it was the one-stop shop. You can go, you can get everything. No one was as awesome as Walmart 10 years ago. That's not the case today. So I think that Walmart's not what they used to be.
I think that the evolution of markets, I agree with you. You know what I mean? It's heading in that direction. I think that Walmart itself is also trying to develop a little bit of a more online presence and flexibility. Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
But
They're
listen,
reacting.
listen. When you have a good business model that works for you, you know what I mean. The last thing that you want to do is change it. You know what I mean? Because even if you see the writing on the wall, you're like, man, this is really good right now. Let's not touch it until you kind of like forced to change it, right? But that is a different. That's business evolution. You know what I mean? Opposed to, you know, an area specifically, cities specifically, states specifically, destroying a business just because, and you were asking for the fundamental reason, what's actually happening here? Well, if you have people that are responsible to apply the rule of law, saying we won't, as a matter of fact, we're going to reduce, and unless the charge is up to this level, and if we don't, they are not enforcing any of this criminal activity. This is criminal.
Are you referring to Lori Lightfoot just saying, hey, some people were just kind of going out there enjoying the weather?
You know?
Some of them stepped out of line.
The new mayor of
Like,
Chicago,
which is
newly
crazy.
elected,
Brandon Johnson.
saying some people, sometimes they're just hungry. Bro, this is not
You don't
Africa.
excuse
I
that
can't even
shit.
use Africa
Yeah.
anymore because Africa is about to be doing better than us.
BRICS.
You know what I mean? Yeah, part of BRICS, South Africa, right? But I mean, this is not for somebody that came into this country with nothing. The whole idea that you are hungry and you have to go rob somebody and go into a store, that I don't understand how that's something that even somebody who's supposed to be part of the establishment that is supposed to apply the rule of law, right? Law and order. Not only help protect, listen, protecting the community means that you also got to protect the businesses. Because my issue with Walmart was a lot of the small business owners ended up getting crushed. I mean, destroyed, out of business, right? That was, again, evolution of business, right? Now Walmart is going to get pushed out because it's a different evolution. If they disappear, doesn't mean that somebody that where we are today, people are ready to be 100% without a brick and mortar type of location. You know what? Maybe that would bring back some of the small bodegas, right? Where you're gonna walk to the corner and get a little something that was missing, or you couldn't wait for the delivery to come because you ordered something online, or you're looking for something that would be fresh, right? And you just want to go grab it. So I think there's a possibility that somebody will benefit. There's gonna be a little empty space that somebody has to come in and do something with it.
But here's what I'm saying. I think it's a setup. I think Walmart is using this opportunity to cause something that have nothing to do with them going out of business naturally.
I will give you all of that.
It's like saying, my business is in trouble. Let me burn it down. I have fire insurance. I don't think it's
all of that.
I don't think it's the
But it
looters
wasn't
who's
just
going to make
Walmart.
the business.
There was
Walmart going
thing
out of
happening
business.
at 7-Eleven. There was a bunch of gas stations with things happening.
Correct.
So what is that? Are those guys also doing
What-
the same
no,
thing?
what I'm
Whole
saying
Foods
is
is pulling. Whole Foods.
Looters are not. This is not something that's happening on a daily basis. That's going to cause 7-Eleven to leave a city. Is what I'm saying. So what happened?
No, but we're talking about
over
two
the-
different things.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
got
they're
it. Okay.
connecting them as if they're the same, and they're not. That's what I'm trying to say. So what I'm saying is, I think one cause.
It's funny because I agree with you, but it's two different things,
Yeah.
but from a different perspective,
Got you,
right?
got you.
So let me tell you where I'm at on what you're saying right now, right? I do agree with you that if a company ever needed an excuse to remove themselves from it, this is a good one.
Correct.
This is as good as it gets. It sounds legitimate. You know what I mean? I get it.
I got a little too
I get it. That still doesn't address the fact that after they got cleaned up, nobody got arrested.
No, I get you. Yes. And
There's no excuse for that. You know what I mean? Because what that does is you do have other companies, like you're saying, the small gas station guy, the 7-Eleven that was there, the Whole Foods that's coming out of San Francisco. You have all these other businesses that are now become a target just because no one did something. Yeah. Even though Walmart was strategically thinking, like, to me, those are two different things. I will grant you that. Like, if there was a corporation that ever needed a reason to say, we need to get the hell out of here, let that happen. Let them burn the store down. As a matter, I hope somebody comes in with like 2 gallons of gas.
I'm saying, I think they do that. Because I don't know if these people are like, why would they go to Walmart instead of Louis Vuitton if I'm going to loot? Why would I decide to go to this corner instead of that corner? Somebody is controlling which corners that they're deciding to loot on. It's not the teenagers. It's not the teenagers. No, it's not. It's other people who's the
pizza rolls were untouched. We knew it wasn't teenagers.
No.
What do you mean?
It's not the teenagers who's deciding, let's go to this store. No, it's other entities.
But what do you have to say
but they were like
the rule of law not being applied?
No, I agree.
That's what I mean. There's zero accountability.
But that's not what I'm saying. I know that the rule of law is not being applied, but what I'm saying is They already knew the rule of law was not going to be applied. They already knew that this was something that if we can get 1,000 people in one place to do something, nothing is going to happen. No one is going to stop it. What I'm saying is it's a perfect setup. So then now if I want to have a group of kids do something that now we can't have, no one's going to be held accountable. No kids got arrested, right? No one's going to say it's my fault because I had nothing to do with it. What I'm saying is I think it was a setup. I don't think that the kids are just going to decide, let me go and steal cereal boxes at Walmart. No, they're not doing that. But if I can get a group of kids in a corner, right, and we say, hey kids, this is what we're going to do, everybody's going to follow. Everybody's going to follow. That's what I'm saying. So by
the way, it wasn't just a store. There were cars that were being jumped on and pummeled and broken and people that got beat up.
But that's never gonna. That's not gonna cause Toyota to go out of business. Is what I'm saying.
No.
So when I see an entire business move out, then it's something bigger than this one incident that happened.
But I mean, it doesn't mean that this Walmart specifically is moving out. But what it means is that you've seen other businesses moved out. And to be quite honest with you, we haven't seen something this drastic and at this level. And I can play along the whole conspiracy theory from the corporate side, but I do want to make sure that you're addressing the actual criminal component. There is crimes are being committed, and I don't want to take this bunch of kids and try to paint them out like they are the victim. Listen, I saw a lady standing a half a block away. From where her husband, her car was being set on fire. Husband got beat up to the point that he had to go to the hospital, and she's watching her husband taking a beating. It's like they just came to us and taken. To me, not to make an example of things like this, regardless of any other game.
But an example with who? That's what I'm saying. To blame the kids in this situation.
Well, wait a minute.
I believe that's now you're looking at the wrong thing. The kids did not set this up.
It doesn't matter. They committed the crime.
No, so the person who set up the website didn't commit a crime.
Everybody.
What I'm saying is no one's not talking about that person.
I can go all the way up.
But that's where you have to start. You don't start with the kids.
No. The kids are the ones that committed the crime. So you start with whoever committed the crime.
No, I don't agree. I think you start with the person who set it up.
Who do you think?
For example, if a soldier goes into a country, you don't blame the soldier who's there. You blame the person who sent the soldier. That's what I'm saying. No, it's not. No, it's not different.
As a matter of fact,
I don't think it's any different. I think you guys are looking at the wrong people who are at fault. It's not the teenagers who are at fault here.
You think that it was Pablo Escobar, the one who got arrested first, or the guy who was selling drugs in a corner?
No, it's definitely the guy who's getting.
So that's what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying, that doesn't stop.
By the way, did they get to Pablo eventually?
Yes, correct.
Yes, so you got to start with the guy who went in there with the corner, and then you start saying, how the hell did you get here? How did you organize yourself? What did that website say? By the way, who the hell put the website together? That's what you do. By the way, when a soldier kills somebody, right, they actually say that. A soldier killed somebody, and then they said, well, whose soldier was it? From which country? Who gave the order? But it really it's got to be from bottom up.
I got
and
you.
For me, what I'm saying is that anybody who's a mastermind, anybody should be held accountable higher than the person who just got cut up. I understand what you're saying about don't go so hard on somebody that got emotionally, but at the same time, though, there has to be a lesson along the way, because if you don't address it, then you're gonna think that it's okay to go out there. My concern. By the way, just so you know, I have zero concern about Walmart.
Yeah.
My concern is they're gonna survive. They're gonna be just okay. They got plenty of insurance. They got plenty of everything. Merchandise is insured. Their facilities are insured. My concern is, what does it do to the community? What does it do to the DNA of the community? You know what I mean? What does it do to, and when I mean the DNA of the community, for everybody to accept the idea that we have to be destroyed every now and then. By the way, not by anybody else, but by us. We setting the whole place on fire. Like don't go
anywhere.
Go to DC. Go see where AOC happens to be promoting all this kind of stupidity.
So can I ask something though? Because you're talking about accountability. Like, by the way, I agree. You take this guy out first, and then you look for the other big guy. Both. It's not one or the other. Both. I have a question about the accountability for the mayors and the soon-to-be mayor that are like not doing shit about it, and they're actually saying, well,
district
it wasn't even
also.
that bad. The
But
district
that's
attorney
what
and
I'm
all of
saying
that
is,
shit. It's
to
like,
me, that's where
what
the biggest problem
is
is
happening?
on that level.
Yeah.
It's not going to be on the level of, and like I said, trust me, I'm not saying, I'm not trying to promote anybody
I was gonna
doing
say,
anything
Alex is gonna be jumping on my car like tonight.
That's not what I'm saying. No. I'm not trying to promote any of these things, right? And no one should be doing anything that's illegal. Don't steal, no chips, no Pampers. I don't care if you need the food.
I
don't
drive
steal it, right?
a black Porsche Panamera. You see it parked in front of the building, it's okay. Just jump on top of it.
So I'm not promoting any of these things.
Right.
All I'm saying is that I believe that the biggest thing that I'm paying attention to is not them. It's why is the mayor saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. Everything is cool." Why is Walmart not? You get what I'm saying? So I'm just looking at the bigger players, and yes, maybe you might have to go through the smaller players to get to them.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's going to lead anywhere.
So
that's
can
what
I
I'm saying. I
ask
don't know
one-
if we arrest all those kids, you may never find out who the organizers.
You know what's
of this
really
thing
jacked
is,
up
you know?
about this? You know what's really
What's
bad
that?
about this? Check it out. They literally, it wasn't ousted. What the hell is the name? Where they voted out Lori Lightfoot, right? They said, you're doing a terrible job as a mayor. We need to make sure that we run a special election or whatever it is. And they voted this new guy, Brandon Johnson, in, which happens to be even worse. So at the end of the day, what's really top about this whole situation is the fact that the people that are, I don't know what the hell is happening in Chicago, what the hell is in the water, but it's like they're all kinds of jacked up from all kinds of different
really
places. Because it's like,
perspective.
what the hell?
Chicago.
You know, it has taken years to develop that victimhood mentality,
And it's just like-
they are reacting and responding to that. But you are actually touching upon something that is my ultimate biggest concern. You know what I mean? Which is the fact of the matter is that it's not just this specific states. You know what I mean? I think that in general, the country, and I will say intentionally, is progressively more and more divided, right?
Yeah.
And you also have right now, we are concerned about issues that when you compare them with every single real issue that we have going on, they have us paying attention to things that are either connected to a very small minority of people, like the whole transgender conversation, right? Or even a distraction when it comes to.
Don't call them a small minority.
Or against that.
There's a lot.
No.
Not much.
There is there's 330 million people in the country. If you had more than one people, more than 1 million, if you have 3.3 million people that are identified as transgender in the
That's
country,
still
then that's
1%.
1%. All right, so if we have less than that, everybody needs to just take it easy. And for us, as the rest of the country, and I'm saying this like I don't care what comes my way, I'm just telling you this right now. The rest of the country, the 99% of the country, they have to worry about the other things that are also real issue for the country.
True.
Right? Just think about that. Like 1% of the population, less than 1% of the population are dictating what exactly is it that we're talking about right now. Right? The second thing is like,
And eggs are still $14.
and then from the political side, you know what I mean? It's like everybody's distracted. Did he really paid $130,000 to that porn star?
Oh,
Right?
sorry.
Like no, call her.
Sorry.
Say, hey,
I'm sorry.
you know, she's a professional actress of advanced passion,
There you go.
active, something like that. I don't know what to write because I don't know what the percentage of that group.
Yo, if I do
is.
have to create a title.
I don't
I'm
want to
like,
get hate
so
mail
what
on
is
that. You know what I mean? I don't want to get it. I don't know what percentage of the population
Talk about
that is. You know what I mean?
edification.
So
Yes.
we keep going in that direction, right? But you know what my ultimate concern is? You know, everything when it comes to the economy, the green movement policies, some of the racial tension that we have going on, some of the gender tension that we have going on, some of the way politics are running right now. And if the economy drops to with everything else that apparently is coming down the pipeline, listen, for the first time in my life, I was literally saying to myself, is it possible that we can face the kind of unrest that can turn into civil war?
I don't think so, but it could be very.
Why
bad.
are you confident that we won't. If the
Because
country,
everybody's
if the country,
fancy right now.
if the country's so divided right now,
so
though,
much
you know what I mean?
pacification
If the-
happening. Like everybody's wounded.
It will be
The problem is that
God.
you're starting
You
to
can't
see
call it a
people
war.
pushing back, though. You know what I mean? You're starting to see. The question is, the people that are going to be pushing back, how far are they going to go? You know what I mean? And if you're not able to use the
Weak
regular
men create
channels,
tough times.
but that's
Headed
what
for
we're
a
facing
tough
right now.
time.
So you're confident
So
we're not
no, we're not
gonna
going
be-
into a civil war. We might
Yeah.
go into the worst depression ever.
You're not going to be
I
in
believe
South,
that,
West,
but it's not
East.
going to be fighting
No.
the half the
We'll be
country,
losing
no.
all the fat homeless people. Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
No, so, but I do think it could be very bad,
So-
but not civil war bad.
If we go into the worst depression ever,
Yes, that
you
I
don't
believe.
think that takes us to the brink?
No.
Because
No.
if we looting like
For-
this,
no, because
Yeah.
just
When
because
there's
somebody
no
was
crime,
organizing,
when
if
there's
somebody
no
was
real crime.
organizing
I got
for
you, I got you, I got you.
opposed to, holy crap,
Here's the
I
difference.
really don't have
Here's the
anything to
difference.
eat.
Every
Like, what do you
single
do?
one of those kids, that's what I'm saying. I think they were let to do those things.
I got it.
The second that somebody says stop, they stop. They're not gonna keep going. And then, so that's why what I'm saying is it's messed up, but there's people who are controlling these things because the kids are not going to go to war
what you're
with the
saying
police.
is,
The kids are not going to go to war with
What-
the military.
so what-
The second that somebody says, "All right,
What-
kids, go to sleep. Time to go pack it up," they're all packing it up.
What
and
he's
they're gonna go
saying
home.
is somebody can be motivated enough or to the point of doing something like that, even if they don't need to, but you're not concerned about somebody really being properly motivated if the economy gets so bad. What
Yeah.
you actually need to, because you're saying, I got 3 children.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I don't have a way to provide for them.
Yep.
I need to. How about guys? 30. How many we need? About
Yeah.
30 of us.
And the only reason why I say no is because 2 reasons. Number
Go ahead.
one, kind of what you just said. Most people are just too soft. They're not real gangsters who's gonna really go to war. They're not doing that. They're gonna do the thing that is easy to do. That they know I'm not gonna get into trouble.
You just,
it's not
you just called out the whole country.
Yeah, I know, right? No, that's true. I'm being
You
serious.
weren't concerned
Yes.
about that little 1% that I was calling out. You just called out the whole country.
Yeah, so that's number
We
one.
too soft. You're
Yes,
saying you do
yes.
not see
No,
any way,
nope,
shape, or form
not even a
anybody
little bit.
saying.
And then secondly, the second reason why
Not
I
even a
say
little
no,
bit.
second
Not even
reason
a
why I
little
say
bit.
no is because the biggest thing
Everybody-
that
What about the crazy white supremacists with the guns?
Every-
let me say that.
Everybody's a Ponzi.
So here's the second reason why I don't think it's not going to happen is because the second things will get that bad, here comes somebody who's going to say, "Here's what we're going to do: another stimulus bill. We're going to make sure that we're going to figure out a way to control the wave
Well-
of craziness." By throwing money at it that we don't have, or by finding a way to create some type of program. No, guys, don't riot. We'll give you a free turkey.
Well-
don't do this. You're gonna get a free check, or you get
Funny enough,
free
we're gonna
tolls.
be-
for
We're
the
gonna
next month.
Venezuela our way out of it?
Yes, I'm telling you, that's
Funny-
what's gonna happen.
There's gonna be
Funny
people
enough,
eating
we're
out
gonna
of the
be
trash cans.
talking about BRICS, and one of the things the United States is gonna lose is precisely the ability to do
To do
just
that.
that.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, so we'll get
It's
into
gonna
that in a
get bad.
second, but listen.
gonna
All I'm
get
saying
bad.
is, yeah, you know, I
You live
agree
in
with you.
Chicago, get
People-
the fuck out. Sorry.
You know, people should be held accountable at the highest level. I agree with you. And to me, right now, the highest level is not even the mayor of the city, the DA of the city. The highest level right now is we have a government that's
Yep.
actually promoting this kind of.
I agree.
I'm talking about from the president down to just about 80% of Democrats that are part of Congress are literally promoting this kind of behavior.
Yep.
And then again,
And the media. The media's promoting it in a
it's
way to where it doesn't help.
unbelievable
Yeah.
to see
Yeah.
how somehow they're trying to justify the behavior and to continue to add more wood to the fire.
Yeah.
So I mean I agree with that. You know what I mean? My issue is if we don't start punishing everybody involved, man, like there
We
would
just
be.
need accountability. There's this thing
Yeah,
called
it would be no
accountability. It's
correction.
a
It's not
beautiful
coming.
thing.
It's
No,
not
no.
coming. It's
It's
not
a
coming.
beautiful
I'm just thinking about.
You know, we always say, you know, accountability is a privilege, right? It's not coming. We're not in a position to where, unfortunately, the people who are in control, they don't want things to be
I'm like,
I'm
bad.
gonna go to the
All
supermarket.
They don't
they
want
need-
things to be bad.
all they need is a
want things
couple-
to be worse, and that's the direction.
I'm just
we go.
gonna walk out and see what happens. You know?
Well,
Look,
Walmart.
watch
So look,
this,
look.
watch this.
I actually seen where they now have. They'll let you steal. They'll let you steal up until you and they'll track how much you're stealing. because they know if you walk away with like $10, $20 worth of stuff, there's really nothing they can do about it. So they'll let you steal it. But if they keep on tracking you, once you reach over a certain limit, now they'll come in.
They can press charges.
Correct. They can say they can put a warrant out for your arrest.
Put a picture
because now
in
they
front
can
of
say,
you,
okay, you've stolen over the last 6 months over $10,000 worth of merchandise.
You took enough
Yeah,
chicken.
correct. Yeah, but if you, I'm telling you, they won't stop you. They won't stop you.
You know how
They
we're gonna
won't.
fix this?
They won't.
How do we fix this? Please help
Your
us.
grandma used to hit you with everything that wasn't nailed against
That's
the wall,
true,
right?
that's true.
Okay, your mom too. My mom
my-
would talk my ear off.
Almost
But my aunts on the other
set
hand.
my hands on fire.
I
as a
was
matter
gonna
of fact.
say, so it's like all we need, if it's there 1,000 kids running around or whoever the hell it is out there doing what it is
Uh-huh.
that they're doing, all we need is a handful of moms that
No,
are running around
that can't work.
chancletaing it up.
No, here's the reason why. I'm gonna tell you, I got you.
promise you.
Here's the reason why. Is because now they promote for if your parents hit you, here kids, call this number. We
Yeah.
will lock up your parents. You think I'm joking? The kids think
Yeah,
they have
right.
more power
You're right.
than the
You're
the
right.
parents.
You're right.
To what my parents didn't care. They was like, call somebody.
Call-
What
He's like, I dare you. To,
Yeah,
he's like, I dare you
Yeah,
to
correct.
call somebody
Yeah,
right now.
That was my parents.
I promise you, boo boo.
Yeah. But these parents today, oh no, they don't know the old school.
But it's not the mom. I'm not saying that's
Yeah.
that's their mom.
Right,
All
yeah.
I'm saying is that like some people that are really concerned, they're
Yeah.
gonna come in, they're gonna lock arms, and they're gonna be like,
Freaking
all right,
unbelievable,
if you're
man.
gonna
Yeah,
come
just-
in and do
yeah.
some stuff, it's like
Yeah, and then
Moms
and
United,
here's my biggest
dare.
concern. Here's my biggest concern.
there is gonna
Even
take a
the
whole new-
police and the soldiers, they getting soft too, right? So then now you got the soldiers coming in.
They're all learning how to say pronouns.
Correct. Yeah. It's not gonna be. It's not gonna be real soldiers anymore. Oh man, forget it. Forget it. All right, what's going on, Bricks?
Which one of the bricks?
Yeah. Oh man, we got
We're gonna
we got no
India?
chance.
Are we eating on the floor?
He just put a mental picture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Officer Gonzalez
Yeah.
doesn't look too tough,
No,
right?
not at all.
Anyway, let's move on, man, to
Yes.
some of those real issues that we got going on out there.
Oh man, this is horrible.
You know how much work I had put into my credit multiple times. You know when you like get into a point where it's like, man, like look, I'm winning. It's almost perfect, and
Yeah.
then boom,
So
something happened. Like, and then you literally saying to yourself, wow, crap, it's gonna take me about 2 years just to get it back to it.
get out of
And
this
here
one.
you are working your way out, and you're working your way back up to that number, and so, just to find out
It don't matter no more.
that if your credit score is higher than 680, credit higher than 680 points, you will literally have to pay an additional 2 percentage points on your mortgage to subsidize, to supplement a guy whose credit is under 620. So
Is there a puke emoji?
does that
you
make
can put
sense
right here?
to anybody here? Because I'm
What
trying
social
to say, what exactly, how do we help? What is the story? We got people with very good credit history, credit payments, and we're gonna look at those guys and we're gonna penalize those guys so that we can help the guy that doesn't have a good credit history, that doesn't have a good credit score, and that for all intended purposes, in most cases, shouldn't even be buying such a big item.
There's only one
Like a
way that
house.
can make sense to me.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, there's only. I'm thinking about.
I'm dying to hear
There's
this.
only one way that can make sense.
I am
here goes-
dying to hear it. Go ahead,
If
please.
we're gonna charge people who have better credit scores, right,
Mm-hmm.
more money, the only way that can make sense in my brain is if we stop allowing people on the bottom spectrum to where they can't get houses at all, to where now, because think about it, if I'm looking
No,
to
no,
make
no, no,
money-
no, no. Yeah,
so-
yeah.
What- who-
I don't understand.
So, I didn't get
what
that.
did you say?
So,
Yeah.
for example, what do you what kind of credit do you need to qualify to purchase a home at all?
Right now, you can do one for 540.
540.
Somebody will
So let's say
qualify for
if
something.
they change that to where now, if you don't have a 580,
I'm sure there's a
you're not
480
getting a house at all.
Okay.
So then now that's a portion
But that's
of people
the way it used to
wouldn't
work.
be getting houses. So then now
Just so you know, what you're saying
that's
right
the,
now.
that's the only way it could kind of make sense. in
What
my
you're
brain.
saying right now
Yeah.
makes so much sense. Makes so much sense
Yeah.
that that's the way it used to be.
But that's not happening.
But that's not happening
then I don't
anymore,
know.
right? The
Yeah.
way it was, if your credit score, if your credit score and payment history,
If you
wait,
if you were good,
Wait,
why
wait,
would
let
they
me-
charge
let me-
you more?
let me
Like,
let
To
me
make up
explain
for
this.
the money
No,
that
no,
they're
what
not
I'm
getting.
saying
I don't
is,
know,
what I'm
'cause if
saying
no one's
is,
getting the house.
if your credit
Yeah.
score was too low,
Yeah.
There was a couple of, the only other option was for your down payment requirement to be extremely high.
Got it.
Right, so that you literally had skin in the game, so that we're saying, okay, this guy's not going to default that easy. You're buying a property for $200,000. They're asking you to put 30% down. That's $60,000. You're not going to just walk away for the $60,000 that it costs you a lot of work to.
Yeah.
So not only the politicians managed to force the hand of the lenders, and the lenders are saying, as long as we can make some money, right? We don't care, right? Up until the point that everybody defaulted, monies was not. Well, as long as we can insure it, then the insurance companies also started to loosen it. Well, as long as we can, there's always a way to make a little bit of money, regardless of what the politicians are going to put forward. But it is HUD, it is the Housing and Urban Development Administration that literally, this guy's the whole. What is the name of these two guys that I will, because there is even regulation on the books right now that is named that the Dodd-Frank's regulation that has a lot to do. By the way, one is a Republican, one is a Democrat, right?
They were in bed with
and they were both forcing the hand of the lender, meaning, but especially, oh man, this guy Franks, this guy is. Imagine you're the bank and you want to go set up a branch somewhere.
Yeah.
And they're literally saying, we are not going to approve the license for you to go open up to your branch over there unless you do this for minorities and for. So what used to be 70% went up to 80%. 80%, you know what I mean? It was normal for you to assume that you're going to have to put some money to buy, and that your credit and income and all those things were. At some point, it became a pure score benefit, and it went all the way up to 100%, meaning the house was $200,000, they gave you $200,000, you have nothing to lose.
Correct.
You have absolutely nothing to lose. You have no skin in the game. You have nothing to be concerned about. And in some cases, they couldn't even care about your income. They couldn't even care about reserves in the bank and so on and so on.
Yeah.
This is a whole different ballgame, though.
Yeah.
Not only are some people are getting still 100% of the monies, they actually want to take monies literally. If you're your secondary effect of not having a good credit is the interest rate that you're supposed to pay is supposed to be higher than the person who has very good credit.
Correct.
Like this person is actually in phenomenal credit history, going to give you the best possible rate available. What they're saying is we're going to change that.
Yeah.
We're actually going to raise it on you who has the perfect credit history, and we're going to drop it on you who actually is a higher risk for payment.
Yeah. Why would they do that?
There is absolutely, even the builders, Pulte Homes is the CEO for Pulte Homes was being interviewed, and the guy saying, listen, we have some concerns about this. It just doesn't make any sense.
That's what I'm trying.
You can't come out and say it doesn't make any sense. Here's the problem, though. As long as you have politicians that never had a real life job, they never had a real life business, that everything that they get is through papers, they can say, you know what, I just had a great idea. By the way, but if you're somebody who's got bad credit and who hasn't been able to fix it, can't keep up a payment in order for not even if your life depended on it, you're looking at the whole scenario like, I've been waiting for something. So guess what? I'm voting for you because you're gonna get me. The whole idea that you're taking away from somebody to give me, poor me, victim me, who it's life is against me.
But that's a problem. It's going to lead to a bigger problem in the future.
It's
what?
Pacifisos.
Where
is the accountability?
It's going to be. They're going to default on these loans. They can't. You know what I'm saying? If they, and then not only are they going to default on the loans, they're now deterring people who have better credit, who would have the good quality loans.
Go somewhere else.
They're going to be like, why would I do this now?
So,
I don't need to.
You know how much stress is left. You know how much stress just left my body when they're saying, "Oh, you mean I don't have to continuously to try to fix my credit?"
Correct.
Because if anything,
but that's not good for
If anything, I should be under 620. Is that what you're saying? So that I can get something from you. So that that's literally promoting and encouraging bad
Yes.
financial
Behavior.
behavior
Correct.
across the
Which is going
board.
to cause a big problem.
It's going to cost us. It's going to cost us. Like you're
I
saying,
don't know how
eventually they're
long
going
it's
to be
gonna
default.
take
Listen, man,
to see the effects
this
of
is
this, but
so called. It's
yeah.
not supposed. It's not yet law or rule,
Yeah.
but apparently it's coming down the pipeline, just like many other crazy things that we have going on. But everybody's distracted about which bathroom we should be using
Oh,
these
man.
days, and how do I,
Just
what
use
kind of
one.
ban?
So look, here is like again, this all turns right back into what happened to my country. If everybody keeps on thinking that the solution is let's beat up the person that is making sound business decision, that is a good business owner, that is doing all that stuff. If you keep on beating up that guy, they're gonna leave.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so it happened to California. How many companies left
Yeah.
California to states like Tennessee and Texas and Florida? So it's like that's gonna continue happen, but now it's not happening in a specific states. You're
country.
telling us right now that it's happening to the country. So guess what? Let's say somebody like Elon Musk that is what is it, born in South Africa, did something in Canada and now is here, or vice
Correct.
versa, something along those lines. Guess what? That guy is like, you know what? I'm out. And how many other people, how
Correct.
many other businesses are gonna step out? And what that leaves us is in a less position as a country for us to continue to be in a place where we're at. And the money is gonna run dry. This is like reading, what is it, Ayn Rand's, Ayn Rand's, what's the name of the
Shrugged.
book? Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe, like, this is literally, what is
You know,
it?
it's
Where's
funny.
Joe?
They called the lady crazy.
No, it's happening
It's
right
crazy
now,
because-
and it's just insane that we're living through
So
it.
essentially, after May 1st, some of the things that you're gonna see is potentially anybody over 680 to have an additional $40 per month added to their mortgage.
$40 per month.
per month added to the mortgage.
That's $14,000 on a
And
mortgage.
then you have a fee that will apply to those buying or refinancing a house after May 1st, right? But by the way, just for the record, look, and I know it's very difficult to feel bad for somebody that's selling a house that's worth $5 million, right? The thing is that in certain areas of the country, those are the prices. It's not
Yeah.
like you have the best house in town, right? So if you go to California right now, if your house sold for over $5 million, you have to prepare to hand over to the state $250,000.
Why?
Because they taxing the wealthy, they're taxing the rich.
Is that a federal thing, or is that in the
a
state?
state level.
In California.
Well, listen. How do I keep you here if I don't want to lose you? I can force you to say you're going to lose a lot of money. So here's where I'm at, right? My house is $5,200,000.
I'll sell that shit for $4.
I got it aside.
$199,999.
I got it aside. Do I give it to the state,
No.
or do I just tell the buyer, "It's your lucky day"? I'm gonna sell you the house for $4,999,000.
Yeah.
So that's where we are. It's already happening. Like, it's like, again, here.
It don't look good. It doesn't
Is
look
there
good.
anything
I've
to
seen
you?
this
So-
movie before.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what the biggest setup is coming down the road. That everybody, I'm gonna tell you, if you need a reason not to sleep well for the next couple of days, is the whole situation with the BRICS alliance. The BRICS
think that was
alliance. You know, can I tell you? It sounded a
telling me
little
about
bit
it,
like a
that's not
joke.
real.
It sounded a little bit like a joke. It's that,
Yeah.
you know, and I had a lengthy conversation with somebody. It's an accountant, you know what I mean, and he was more concerned about the digital currency that the Federal Reserve was proposing to put forward than the actual BRICS alliance, right?
I'm concerned.
And I said, you know, yeah, it looks like, but just like that ended up gaining momentum. And what is the turning point of? Believe it or not, it goes back to the whole situation with Afghanistan. The way that whole thing went down, everybody looked around and said, we can't rely. The United States is not a reliable partner. You say we're gonna be here for you and with you until the end, and you still have people stranded there. They never made it out of it. And so, can we trust you? There's a number of things to consider. But the original BRICS alliance is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, right? Who, after putting the alliance together, one of the South African presidents, you know, one of the nations, the African nations, just came out and said, if you have any dollars, Dumpton. They're gonna be worth nothing. So this is a guy that's like, wait a minute, this is a president of a country, right? And so, headquarters, just so you know, for this BRICS alliance is in China. Now, I'm sure nobody's surprised about that one, right? I'm sure that nobody's surprised about the fact that China has been actively pursuing the establishment of the yuan into the currency that will be accepted as a currency of commerce, right? And they have, in the last 10, 12 years, we have witnessed their development, greater influence throughout, I mean, everywhere, you name it. There's not a single place where they haven't put some kind of money into, which, by the way, that's what the United States used to do, still do to a certain level, but not at this level, not with this level of it.
Yeah.
And so this dollar versus the BRICS currency. Here's what you said right now. So I want you to consider the following, right? If this takes hold, right? Remember, every Federal Reserve on every nation that has a Federal Reserve in place used to have gold as the standard to back it up. So the dollar become the standard. It's not just a question of the money that we use to buy something in Colombia or in Greece, for that matter. I can, as long as I have dollars. I think that Croatia was the only country that had a little bit of a reaction when I gave them dollars. It's like, why didn't you exchange the money? I said, do you want it or you don't want it? Right? That was like literally my position, right? And of course they took it because it's the dollar, right? And the biggest concern is not as to whether or not the money is worth something. It's as to whether or not it's fake or real, right? Because there's a lot of people there. Obviously, that's their business. They're counterfeiting and fake money. So, if every single one of those, guys, I'm talking about trillions and trillions. For the first time, we got to say quadrillion. When it comes to the amount of money that is sitting in every single one of those currencies. You know, my theory about the only reason why Powell is considering digital currency has nothing to do with just controlling and knowing every single movement that you actually make with your money. It has to do some of it with that. But I don't think that's the main reason. The main reason is if all of that paper comes back to the United States, you're talking about toilet paper, you're talking about what's actually happening in Venezuela right now.
Jewelry.
Where what you making jewelry out of. If
jewelry,
all of that money comes back here at once, then you're talking about we definitely went Venezuela beyond understanding and proportions.
Gotcha.
And that's a real threat that we're facing right now because this is gaining momentum, right? And then you got to say, is this only a currency alliance? Or is this going to become a military alliance? Is this something that's going to be challenging, for example, NATO's position in Europe, right?
I don't think so, but I mean, it's still too early to tell.
What do you mean?
Well,
China's been recruiting aggressively.
Yeah, but that doesn't-
by the way, that is the term.
From every aspect.
That doesn't
What do you
mean that
mean
that
it's not
doesn't,
gonna
that
help?
doesn't mean
That is
that
the term.
India and the rest of them is going to
Well,
necessarily
India,
follow suit to what China's doing.
Egypt, Bangladesh, Uruguay. Don't ask me what Uruguay is in there.
It's okay.
I found that
We don't like them.
those are some of the new members. The UAE, which is the United Arab Emirates,
Yeah.
which you know who that is, right? That's Saudi Arabia. When the gold standard was dropped, and when part of the conflict in that area was there was an underlying promise the United States was going to protect the Saudi kingdom in the event of any attack. And at some point, obviously, their biggest threat came from Iran, right? Which right now, just so you know, Saudi Arabia and Iran are essentially coming to a peace agreement that has been brokered by China, not the United States, right? And so, for the first time, they are walking away also from a promise they made. If the United States made a promise of we're going to protect you and protect your oil reserve because it's also in our best interest. And they also made a promise to say we are only going to trade oil with American dollars. So every other country was forced to get dollars first, which keeps our currency strong, and then to go make that acquisition. Now, they're making deals where transactions are being done again with Chinese currency, Russian currency, Brazilian currency, and so already we walk in. And by the way, guys, if this goes wrong, it's gonna go wrong quickly. The reason why Powell is right now talking about digital, that's my take. Digital currency has to be something that we definitely got to consider. We've been digital for a number of years. If you ask me, right? I mean, it's so easy right now. The moment that we all agree, I used to walk around with a bunch of cash. Now, if I have $100 cash with me, $200 cash with me, it's just in case something happens. You know what I mean? But now everything is plastic, everything is electronic, everything is so we've been digital somewhere somehow, right? But I think that what they're trying to say is, we're going to have to produce this, and we're going to have to call it something else. Not just a dollar, but a dollar D or a dollar whatever, so that all of that paper can be set on fire without having an impact on it. So any concerns about that, especially you coming from Venezuela? Ready to go drinking tonight?
Start looking at some videos of origami. Just so that you can become very crafty
to do with the paper
by the time, so that you can sell it for, I guess, the yen. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's a scary proposition. It makes me wonder if some of these things were happening, if we had somebody else different in the White House, you know?
No, this is 100%, and I'm gonna go back to something that he said, right? How high do you go when something is going wrong, and then it feels like it's going intentionally wrong, right? And then you start going to okay, so some business people made some deals with some areas that are. By the way, just so you know, France right now is jumping into this. France, and somebody said.
What is it going to be called now?
So somebody said, well, you know, the French has been one of the greatest allies of America, United States of America. No. United States of America has been the greatest ally the French were. And I can only remember, I don't know if you remember, we were all part of that event where Jordan Peterson was being interviewed by Patrick Bet-David, right?
Yes.
And we were in that event. That's the same event where Kobe was part of that event. This is, I believe, was Mirage, right? It's just 2019, right?
2019.
And at that point, almost as if we was predicting the future, Jordan Peterson says, United States is paying and will pay a very high price for helping enrich all these countries that don't like United States and are going to do everything. So we created
A monster.
all exactly everything that we have around us right now. So here's a different perspective. This is a different way of seeing United States. You can see United States as a good force for the world, right? I'm not saying there's no mistakes. I'm not saying there's no scary incidents. But if I have a choice of who should be leading the planet right now, my money is in the United States.
Guys,
Or here's another way to look at it, right? Another way to look at it is the United States has been a bully around the world, right? And it has even used the currency. Remember, if it's a reserve currency, estamos hablando del imperio, the evil empire, right? That, as a matter of fact, we used to refer to the Soviet Union as the evil empire, right? That was coined by President Reagan, that phrase, right? But you know, the problem is when you start using the currency to impose sanctions in other countries. Because you have the power to do it, because eventually you're centralizing, or you are the central body hub that moves money around, and you decide who gets penalized and who doesn't. When you start playing around with too much with that, you're gonna build some enemies.
Absolutely.
The second thing is, you know, some of the wars that we've been fighting though. I don't know if you guys remember. I remember one school bully in my school. I'm sure you remember your own, right?
Absolutely.
And so. I remember one, and this guy was the guy that would come up to you and say, not only that he took the cookies that you were eating away from you, he then gave you a beating.
Oh my God!
Right? It's like so it was like religiously you went through the process of getting a beating from that bully on a daily basis. And I remember coming back home, and my mother was like, "You," because I obviously that was my daily bully encounter, right? For a little while, I think I'm in third grade. My life changes in that moment because I go back home. My mother's looking at me saying, "Listen, I know you guys get together to play soccer, but you can't come home looking that dirty." And I'm saying, I think I'm just gonna tell Mom what's actually happening. You know what I mean? A moment of honesty. And I'm saying, Mom, no, I'm coming here like that because here's what happened. I'm getting beat up. And I'm thinking of my mother's like, what? I'm gonna go fight for my son. Talking about being raised by different group of people. I can only imagine there'd be like a riot out there. Here's what my mother said to me. If you come back here tomorrow looking like that because you took a beating, I'm gonna give you a bigger beating than the one you got today. And guess what? Next day I come in, she looks at me, she's like, what happened? He's like, what do you mean what happened? You know what happened. Like, I'm like trying to play victim. Bro, I got such a beating from my mother. I mean, I'm talking about so the next day, I'm recruiting 3 of my other friends. And because we were getting beat up by the guy, so I went and I did the recruiting. I was China. I was like, okay, listen guys, here's the deal. We'll come together, we'll beat him up. Right, but just so that you know, Alexi, there's a chance that when you're by yourself or I'm by myself, you're gonna get a beating. But don't worry about it, because the very next day we're gonna beat him up again, right? And that was the game until this guy got the message. You know what I mean? Like he found me once, beat me up, and like the next day we're like, by the way, we're gonna come back tomorrow. And he goes, so that's the picture. I don't know that that's what's going on, but that's the picture that some people want to describe, right?
Gotcha.
That now a group of people are saying, you being the bully in the backyard, we being fed up, we're going to come after you. I don't know that that is the real scenario. I think the United States has been, like I said, a power for good around the planet. I'm not saying that there was no mistakes or there hasn't been any.
That's possible, but the way I see it, I feel like at the end of the day, the smartest individuals are going to win. Because with kids, it's a little different. Because now it's just, all right, we get enough of us. we going to win, right? But now when you're dealing with money, if you get a group of people with money and then the person who's the smartest one has all the money and that somehow you figure out a way to get the money from this individual, it's only a matter of time before they get the money again.
Well, are we making any power plays right now?
We have to be.
Are we? Are you kidding me? We're shaking hands with ghosts.
Yeah.
We're shaking
not good.
Like I'm looking at our current president, and I went from being angry with this guy to now I just feel sorry, but now I'm concerned because everybody's looking at us and say, you know what? If there was ever a time to take over Ukraine, this is a good time. If there was ever a time to take over Taiwan, this is a good time. By the way, what the issue with France is that the French president is literally saying, if that happens, don't expect us to jump into that fight.
France said that.
Announcing that if China decides to go in there and militarily take over Taiwan, they are not doing anything to help. That is like before consulting with your ally who, I mean, let's go back to the D-Day, right? Where right now France will be German, okay? I'm sure they're forgetting that because there's absolutely no way to say, hey guys, listen, this is a very delicate situation, right? What do we do here? And he just preemptively went out there and made that announcement that they're not going to get involved. And I hope that we are taking names down because there's going to be a time where I'm going to tell you, I am concerned about what's happening with the currency. And for me, though, you said something about smart people who has the ability to make power moves when it comes to the money. My concern is that we don't play a game out there just with money. We also play in a game out there with weapons.
That's true.
And China, Russia, right now, those people combined are a real existential threat for us, right? So do we go to war now? Do we go to war later? Do we get to a point where World War III is here? Do we get to the point
Don't worry,
where...
Coach. You know what's happening?
What?
Biden's meeting with Trudeau.
Biden is meeting with Trudeau. You know what I'm thinking as that. So where do you go from here? If we went to World War III, Venezuela is a great choice because nobody's going to be bombing it. All I'm saying, guys, is that if this keeps going,
Yeah.
the way it's
Fighting
going
with
right
maple
now,
syrup.
we do have to be extremely concerned about what the final outcome can potentially be out of this whole situation. And now here's what allows me to go to sleep at night, right? For the moment, because that we also are working on destroying that, right?
Yeah.
Which is the constitution of this country. Because at the end of the day, Alexi, Lorena, the one thing that no other country has is the individual and property rights that we have in this country. There's no other place that has that. So regardless of what's going on with anybody else, regardless of all these financial movements, all it takes is for one of these guys to default on something, made a bad transaction, do something that will be crazy. India, I'm so surprised about India though. When India was emerging, I was supporting India, saying yes, they're gonna compete with China. I'm no longer safe that India is also a friend of United States.
India is just a friend of India.
True.
Yeah, but at some point you can't. If you don't stand for
It's
something,
like being an independent.
Yeah, if you don't stand for something, meaning at some point you do have to, even from a political and financial perspective, you do have to define who your friends are and who your enemies are. You know what I mean? And in this game, the whole idea, you can't just keep going around saying, well, you want me to answer in a way that you want me to answer, but we are concerned about us. I get that's no longer a game, though. An answer that will do, especially given where we are right now. As a matter of fact, if you're asking me, I think they took
India
a clear
picked the side,
position,
yeah.
right? By the way, remember, India and China are next to each other. Like if something goes wrong, India needs to be more concerned about China than us
That's true.
at this very moment. But when it comes to, and if something goes wrong, who do you think they're gonna go to? Right? So it's really concerned about the fact that even with what we have, if they keep eroding the Constitution the way we're doing right now, with all these crazy amendments and all these crazy things that are taking place, and we cannot say that the people that we have in the White House right now are power players or power brokers out there. There's nobody. They ice cream eaters. You know what I mean? Let's just go have some ice cream, and hopefully things will get better. But guys, this is what has been keeping me away for a couple of days, looking into.
Can I drop something there?
Please.
It wasn't on part of the conversation, but I've been seeing, because we were talking about the different candidates.
Yeah.
You know, that popped out, and what's the name of the lady that everybody was making fun of because she immediately
Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley. I don't know. She went flat. I don't know where she went.
She's out there.
I haven't
She's
seen
gonna
her.
try to make a case, and I think she should be part of. If she doesn't come close to becoming a president, she should be part of the next administration. Period. And I will definitely think that she's a power broker. She's a power player.
So there's DeSantis. Apparently, they were saying, I don't know how true this is, but they were saying that Biden was supposed to be announcing his run for re-election on.
It's coming around the
sometime
time it
next
can't get
week.
past.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be either made or late now. It is this
Late
is,
April or
this,
May.
yeah,
it's
usually
when it
around
has
this
to pop
time.
out. But there's this dude that's been popping up a little bit. He was interviewed by Jordan Peterson, and by Patrick before he threw his hat in the race, which is Vivek. Have you been looking at Vivek?
Yeah, absolutely. Right on the money on everything that he said.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have any traction.
Yeah.
Right on the money.
Yeah,
About
that guy.
everything he says.
Yeah.
He's 100%.
Do you think
when
he
it comes
doesn't
to
have any
issues.
traction? Because I'm seeing
any
him a
traction.
lot,
Yeah,
like all
he
over.
doesn't.
Where is
Have
he?
you seen him?
No, I haven't. Where's
This
he?
guy's gonna have to do something so dramatic, and I mean, he's gonna have to organize a 1,000,000-man march to be able to be
Well,
taken
he's got the money
seriously
because
like
he's
that.
not broke.
He's not a broke guy, but
Yeah.
but I don't know who's advising him. And if I was, without something that dramatic, he's not gonna get any traction. You know, he's trying to rely on
His money
social media and
his-
stuff
yeah.
like that, and he's the guy that you want to like, but sometimes comes across a little bit annoying because you know what I mean? Like, you know, when somebody's like a little too smart that annoys you is the what is this?
Well,
kid?
he's talking about smart
Eh,
people. We need one of them smart people.
Well, I mean, think about Shapiro, right, from the Daily Wire.
Oh,
I think that guy would be a phenomenal president.
No,
That guy-
he likes talking too much.
That guy could be a phenomenal president. I can't handle him for more than like 15, 20 minutes at a time. Then I have to stop and get back to like I'm sure somebody's looking at me saying, bro, I can't handle you for like more than
I can barely understand you.
I can do 5 minutes at a time, and then the other two I don't understand, and then I got to stop, right? The problem with some of these guys, though, is that you know that they can be like phenomenal. I don't know, but he will need something that drastic and that dramatic, Lorena, for him to right now. Right now, he's not even a factor.
I'm checking.
Yeah. Well, the way that because Trump wasn't a factor for a while too.
No, Trump always was. Trump always. Here's what Trump did.
Nobody was.
That was
Nobody
a
was
phenomenal thing. The guy played for years. It was like 3
that's
election
true.
cycles that people used to go
Was talking
just to
about
make
it.
sure.
Yeah.
He was talking about it like, I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I haven't made a choice. We're thinking about so and so and so.
And then Obama
And so
announced
whoever was the actual person running, it was like a pilgrimage, going through Trump Towers, having a conversation. You knew that whoever was like the most serious contender to fight for the nomination of the Republican Party was going to visit Donald Trump. That was a power move, and he kept that going until he finally decided.
To make a
Again,
run.
thanks to the support that he got from President Barack Obama, he ended up making a choice. But he was already established, well known.
He had
Compared to this guy, you know, like I know what you're saying.
he just
By the
has a lot of money.
way, I will tell you, I will dare to say that he would be definitely a better president than DeSantis and Trump. And Trump. The problem is that I don't.
DeSantis needs the money. He needs to play the game of politics. This guy doesn't need to.
He doesn't, and Trump
because
doesn't.
he's got the money, and Trump doesn't either. Yeah.
But he can play a game where he can be more of a statesman than Trump knows how to be, because that's the one thing that Trump doesn't know how to be a statesman. But what Trump has, and this young man have to figure that out, right? The ability to walk into a UFC arena, and everybody just going bananas, the fighters endorsing him. Masvidal gave it an endorsement and then said something about Biden that I don't know if I should say here, because I don't want the video to be taken down. But what I'm asking might be a little too much. What I'm saying is that's that kind of star power, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
it's a big difference.
it's
Yeah,
a
he
big
was a brand
difference.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. When you already established at that level, you can have somebody that can be the smartest guy in the room, have a better delivery, and even have the better ideas, and even have the capability to maybe do a better job. But I think that what he should do,
Work on his market.
as soon as there's a little more comfort, I don't think he should be in a distancing so much from Donald Trump. I think that if I was him.
Well, he spent a lot of time, because I watched a couple of his interviews, and he spent a lot of time, like before he was running, he spent a lot of time defending him.
Correct.
Like defending his position
Correct.
and defending where he was, and it's like, but you don't understand, this is the guy, so it's like, and then.
If I was Donald, by the way, if I was Donald Trump, and I don't fall for it have to be a female vice president, if I don't play that game and I don't have to fall for that, remember he fell a little bit for the whole COVID situation, so he's sensitive to that kind of pressure, right?
Yeah.
If he's not a guy who's gonna go for, that would be my vice president, and then that will lead the way for this guy to eventually become a president, right?
I like
Then again, if DeSantis doesn't make it this time around, you know what I mean, the next time around he's President DeSantis. I think I see that as an inevitable. This guy is a young man who's got to put himself out there a little more. I think I hope that by the time he becomes a president, half of these things haven't become a reality yet, because he's fully aware of these things, and I think he has very good ideas.
He talks a lot about ESG. And
Talks
all
about
this
very
stuff
good
that is
ideas to
happening.
fix exactly all those
Yeah.
things that are taking place. So guys, anyway, with that being said, this was a mouthful when it comes to, and I hope everybody, the funny thing is that we want to come to people, we want to come to the average person, and I know it sounds like today we spoke about some very complicated issues, but it's not that. It's just that it is actually happening. These things are taking place, and they can have, the kind of consequences, like you're saying. We're talking about a worse depression than 1929, 1919. And all of these things, we have to, we got to find a way to talk about it. and to get to people to understand. The
Absolutely.
final takes on about any of this,
Yeah.
guys.
So for me, my final take is this. Even with all this stuff going on, I'm still optimistic about the future a little bit, right? And I'm saying a little bit. So I don't believe BRICS or any outside forces is going to be the thing that's going to be the biggest issue for America. I think the only issue that we have is going to be ourselves. So that's the bad news and the good news. The bad news is because there's a lot of problems going on, but the good news is we can fix that. If we can find ways to make Americans better Americans, more money, Americans smarter, then that's going to fix all the problems that we have going on the outside. I think the only way we lose this financial war that you know, or the real war, is if we destroy ourselves.
Got
you
it.
know, so that's my so. Pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to what's going on with your own family. How's your finances? You know, is your family struggling? Are you the ones who's complaining about you got to pay those extra 2 points? Or are you excited about the fact that somebody else is now paying for your lunch? Do you get what I'm saying? So you got to just pay attention to those things. Put yourself in a better position, and then I think we'll be fine.
For me, a little bit on what you said, but for me, more than anything else, is we need better parents, more involved parents. We need more parents to be. So if you're a parent, like, pay attention to what your kids are like watching, they're doing. Don't be afraid to, you know, it's like nudge them a little bit, give them a beating, you know, if they need it. Just because we need to, like, for real,
Yeah,
it's
I
like
got
be
you.
willing to put up with that, because it's again, the pacification is happening because everybody is afraid that they're going to end up somewhere, but we're going to end up like we're losing our values and principles. There's a legit attack in our values and principles, and so it all starts with parenting, in my opinion. You know, it's like how early can we put together those values and principles? So there's that. You know, be ready to throw out some chocolate if it's necessary. That's number one. Number two, don't celebrate too much those little 2 points and the free check. You know, it's like, be cautious of that, because everything that you get for free, at some point you're gonna pay the price for it, whether one way or another. And the easier it is and the more comfy it means for it to be free, the worse it's gonna be later on. Like that pound of ice cream that tastes delicious, at the end of the day is the one thing that's gonna kill you because it clogged out your arteries. So, like, it's
Yes,
true.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
You
So
got
it's
that
like-
analogy, right? You felt it a little bit.
I'm telling you, because I was sitting here, I was so depressed. I'm like, I'm gonna go get some ice cream. So I'm giving that message to myself. You know what I mean?
Don't
It's
do
like,
it.
It's like, don't do
I need
it.
a baby aspirin.
But it's that. It's the easier that it's gonna be,
Yeah,
the
that's
more
true.
hurtful it's gonna be. So just understand that accountability starts with you. There's nothing, you cannot affect anybody else until you change. You know, what Patrick Bet-David says all the time, you're not God, that job is already taken. Become a better citizen yourself, become a more accountable person yourself, and that will in turn influence the people around you, and collectively, not in a socialistic way, will raise the awareness of the country. But it all starts with us at the end of the day. So if you're willing to do that, more power to you. Let's go change the world.
You know, guys, the last time we said something about to the fact that about, you know, every 70 to 80 years there was a change of guard when it came to who was the current superpower. There was somewhere somehow controlling the temperature of politics and policies throughout the globe, and we've been long overdue. You know what I mean? The last time that happened is over 100 years now. And so I don't know that there's something really emotional, almost takes you to the point of feeling nostalgic about the whole thing, right? The United States may get to that point. I mean, it has done, like I said, my take is that the country has done so many good things for so many. I don't want to just talk about in general about other people. You know, I know what it has done for my family, for myself. You know what I mean? And so I approach that conversation with that level of gratitude, because I do feel grateful for everything that the country has allowed me to do. With that being said, there's another component. You know, I think about the fact that even if the country faces some challenges, you know, I mean, there still will be some very good things about the country. Like you said, you still got to be optimistic to a certain level, not lose faith. still find a way to feel good. You know what I mean? When I think about my extended family, for example, and this is the only analogy that I can give you about this,
Is that a nice
you know,
one?
is that, well, it's something to the fact that when we get together and somebody was organizing a dinner, there was a little formal, there was a little too uptight per se, because there was some level of protocols involved. It was not the same as when by accident we were just like piling up in somebody's house or in somebody's hotel, somebody's place, right? And we're just piling up, and next thing you know, we were eating unhealthy stuff that was super cheap, nothing organized, nothing makes sense, but we were having a great time, right? And I think that essentially at the end, it's not going to be just how much money we have. Of course, money is going to make choices easier and better, right? But being grateful and being happy and recognizing good moments and good people, it's a choice. You know what I mean? You do have to decide that there are good things happening, and you do have to decide that you can still have the ability to enjoy it. I don't want to close this conversation without talking about this guy. I wish right now we will have about 100 million followers so that I can promote the book for this guy. Definitely one of those books that I'm going to make it part of. As you know, I always give away a lot of books I've done.
About this book.
Yeah,
You want to do a giveaway?
I'm gonna order a bunch of them, and I definitely want to, anybody that is a new subscriber, if you're a new subscriber, and you can send us, proof that you're following us, and you're gonna follow us on the Instagram account, and also YouTube. We're gonna be sending you a book from Hernando de Soto. It's called "The Mystery of Capital: Why Capitalism Triumphs in the West and Fails Everywhere Else." What I'm confident about.
Anybody? Like if we get 100 subscribers, you're sending that 100 books?
I'm sending 100 books. All right, this is good.
Yo!
This is gonna be good for now until the end of the month. Nice. So let's get everybody to come in.
And we're in the month of April.
This is a phenomenal book. This is a phenomenal book. So I'm looking forward to, yes, today is April. I'm gonna say 20. We're gonna give it an additional 10, 11, all the way until the end of the month. So for anybody that does that, I would love to give you that book. I think it would be. Anyway, no idea. I guess that's, with that being said, everybody, I hope this was helpful.
It's gonna be May.
Move it around, subscribe. Give us some feedback. What are you thinking about some of these topics? Or are you trying to do everything in your power to ignore these topics and you don't want to talk about it? Exactly. Yeah. Whatever you do, don't do that. You want to find out a little bit how to help your family. So follow us, subscribe. Move this video,
like, comment, subscribe, share. Let us know what you agree and disagree with.
That's it. Yes. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you the next one. Take it easy.